Hello, I'm Tag,
And this is Bob.
and you're listening to Bob and Tag Talk. Before we start the show, I'd like to point out that the topics discussed on Bob and Tag Talk are Bob and Tag's personal opinions and comments. We don't intend to cause harm or offense, we are simply providing our personal commentary on subjects that we find interesting. Today, we're going to talk about some weird and fun ways that we have learned to save money, especially the things we learned during the pandemic. I remember that you started off the conversation by saying that obviously DIY haircuts became a thing
Yeah,
where people
yeah.
started cutting their own hair at
Yeah.
home, and you started doing that in the pandemic as well,
Yes.
no? And that is obviously one way to save money because
Yeah.
you don't get to
You
go
don't
to
need
the
to pay
salon.
100 bucks or 200 bucks
Yes.
to the salon.
Yeah. You just cut your own hair. However it is, you deal with
You
it.
deal with it. You're not going out anyways.
Exactly. So we thought we could discuss some of the other ways by which we have saved money by not spending on these sort of things. And yeah, it could be weird, it could be
Probably
fun.
it's just a realization that what is necessary, what is essential.
Yeah. And how we can, even if something is essential, how can we do it ourselves? Some things like that. So haircuts was definitely one.
Yeah.
And then I suppose it was about restitching your own clothes.
Actually, it started with an idea that, you don't need to buy masks. There was a shortage of masks. There's the surgical mask and then whatever, N95 mask.
Yes.
So there was an idea that you could actually take old clothes, cut it out, and then just stitch it and make your own masks.
Yeah.
So and then nowadays people are selling that as well, and
Yeah.
those kind of things you can apply it for other things as well.
Yeah. I remember during the pandemic there were a lot of people stitching it and selling the masks.
10 rupees.
Like usual normal people.
Yeah.
So that I thought that was an interesting way to, let's say, earn slight profits, but also help people. More help people rather than make profits. But
But yeah, if you do it with your own clothes, like for
Yes.
example, some clothes of yours are very tight or very old, you cut it up and then you cut another one and then stitch it together to make a
Yes.
new.
Yes.
It's possible.
Yeah.
It's just it'll be fun to do also if you're really interested in stitching
Yes.
and use your creative instincts to.
And it's a very interesting
something.
life skill to have
Yeah.
because it's not just limited to like masks. Obviously, you can make bags out of it.
Yes.
You can make quilts out of it, like putting.
Quilts are actually much more easier.
Yeah, because you just put clothes inside it, and then stitch the outsides
Outside
of
of
it,
it.
and then you're done. So
Yeah.
if you got like old saris, that's what we do at home. Like if you got old saris or really old clothes, you can use them as stuffing
Yeah.
and then stitch the ends to get a really good heavy quilt.
True.
And what are these other things?
Downcycling clothes.
Downcycling clothes, as in, I have done this where some of my jeans I've cut the ends off. I've used them for like small purses or whatever it is,
Oh.
and then I've used the jeans as is. Like the jeans are now not full length jeans; they're more like a capri style, like a knee length style or whatever it is.
I was also talking about your clothes could be cut and stitched for kids.
Yes, that is true. Yeah, you can stitch them for kids. I remember some of your old
Shirts.
your old shirts. We got it upcycled for me as a coat or whatever it is. So
okay.
I thought that was also very interesting how that is also done.
Yeah.
And then one more thing that we learned is cooking our own food, obviously.
Definitely, yeah. You can make pizzas at home.
Yeah.
We can bake bread at home. You can make cakes.
And I think all of it was amplified during the pandemic, and
Yes.
we learned. I don't think we realized all the skills we learned during the pandemic.
Yes.
So all of these things, instead of buying them, we started making them ourselves, and it's a lot of fun.
There's two things. We learnt a new skill and then we passed time. At the same time, we stopped spending.
Yes, it is. It's very interesting. Obviously, there were small businesses who got hit. You can't.
And the thing is, your health improves naturally.
Yes.
As you eat more home cooked food,
Yes.
you
And
eat less outside.
yeah, you sort of make it the way you want to. All of that is there. So everything is very personalized, customized for yourself, and you're really enjoying it. So what other things did we do that was like DIY or make your own stuff? I think a lot of people started making their own personal care products like
Really,
moisturizers.
is it true? I mean, I haven't heard a lot about Probably because I'm a guy, I don't hear a lot about it.
It's like because I was involved in that circle,
Mm.
I knew a lot of people who started making their own
Trying
soaps and all
things
of
out,
that.
is it?
Yeah, so I suppose it's just that because I was in that circle, I got to know a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
So I know a lot of people who started making their own cream deodorants,
Mm-hmm.
their own moisturizers. Soaps were a little bit like more for the sake of being fancy. They used to
Yeah.
make fancy soaps. But yeah, that started happening. And what else did they make? I'm not sure. Some people used to make their own tooth powders, mix their own tooth powders and all of that.
Using clove and like natural
Yeah,
herbal things,
natural
is
sort
it?
of a
Very natural alternatives.
yeah, exactly. And that also, spiked during the pandemic. And even a little before the pandemic, it started spiking,
Yeah.
right? Those sort of natural
One
alternatives.
of the main things is most of the stuff that we use, which are chemical laden, cannot be used for kids. So people who have kids, they definitely have to use some alternative. You
That's true.
cannot use the normal Colgate, Pepsodent, and other brand toothpaste for kids.
Yeah. That is
It's
the
harmful for them.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, thinking about all that, and and one more thing is all of this raw materials became easily accessible. The thing is, it's very
Mainly you can get it
easy.
on Amazon.
Exactly, you
Yeah.
can easily buy stuff like shea butter, cocoa butter online, and all you'll have to do is just mix ingredients. You get your own
I remember
moisturizer.
I used to hear stories that this grandmom and others used to make their own Vaseline.
Ah, yeah, that is speaking of grandmother's recipes and all of that, that's how I learned how to make face packs and all.
Face packs are always there. Multani
Yeah,
matti.
yeah,
How do you
yeah,
get it and
yeah.
mix it?
How do they make Vaseline?
I guess you have to make it from a product of oil. You have to rub that particular part in. That byproduct is what is Vaseline.
Interesting. So yeah, personal care products, that is a huge consumption, no? We spend a lot of money buying cosmetics and personal care products. So when you make them on your own, you sort of, I wouldn't say it saves money necessarily, because you still have to spend on the raw materials and all of that, but I would say it is sort of equivalent. Because I cannot see a situation where it might save money. But I guess it's just fun and it's more customizable, which is why people still want to do it. Still do lip balms or whatever it is. So what else was make your own sort of a thing that we did? I think we did our own jewelry also. But this is not exactly something that you do every day for the sake of it.
Yeah.
It's just something fun, something like a hobby that people did and all of that.
Sometimes what people do is like if there are some jewelry of yours which is broken or cut, you can mix and match with other things, other beads and things like that on a string or
Yes.
on a steel wire.
Yeah.
Then you can make your own stuff.
Yeah. And then
I think it was very popular in the school days. People used to make these friendship bands by themselves.
oh yes, that was there. And one more thing is like usually when you're wearing earrings and all of that, there's that thing at the back where you used to like how do you describe it? Stick it onto your ear, right? I don't know what that is called.
Yeah.
The back thing that's used to stick it onto your ear. So whenever you're in school or whatever it is, it's very likely that you lose the back portion of it. So what we would do as children is we would cut a portion of an eraser
Yes,
and we'd like
yes.
stick it onto that.
Yeah.
So it's those sort of jugards that helped us through school life.
Yeah.
And other things that we not necessarily just learned during the pandemic, but we realized that we can do it ourselves, is like painting your own house.
Yeah, so this is something that I did. So during the pandemic, at least we could get someone to paint the house, but I thought something fun to do it ourselves.
Yeah.
So I went to Asian Paint store. I got a 20-liter bucket of a particular paint.
Okay.
They asked me for which color I want. The particular color, they mixed it.
Okay.
And then the fun part was I had to bring it back home. The mixing part was a little difficult.
Okay.
So I had to mix it like 3:1 ratio with water.
Oh.
So I had to use an old bucket and mix it with water.
Right.
Sometimes it was a little thick, so I did not measure it properly or something.
Right.
So but it was fun. And
Yeah.
then painting was like it was tough. First room was initially it was okay. This is easy, but as and when you go, you get tired. Your arms start hurting,
and especially the topmost portions.
Yeah, the topmost. It's not very finesse. You don't get that finesse part because you're new at it.
Right.
But yeah, as you do more and more, the final room will always be better than the first room.
That is true. And it is like a lot of fun. I suppose it's sort of therapeutic in a way. You're just occupying your time with something. One more thing that you mentioned before was that kids' activities also sort of became jugadish.
So during the pandemic, kids couldn't go out to play. So there were a lot of different ideas of how to you engage kids at home. So one of the most simplest ways, this is very for young kids, not for kids who know how to read and write and things like that. So you could mix a bit of dal, pulses. Pulses come in different colors: red, yellow, green, things like that. Basically, you could mix everything together in a bowl and ask the kids to sort them out, or make some drawing with it, or a design with it, do something with it. So they'll be occupied, they'll be playing around. So one thing that I did was like we always keep a chunk of coins in a jar. So give the kids the coins and ask them to make towers and play with it.
Right. Yeah. You can also ask them to separate it. See what is 1 rupee, what is 2 rupee one.
Playing with that. It's playing and learning kind of a thing.
Yes. And it's like, obviously it does save money. You don't have to spend so much on toys for them. You can
they like the sound of the clink of the coins.
Yes. And that's also fun. It's interesting to think of creative ways to keep them engaged. Sometimes it's not easy because you have to think a lot. Okay, how will my child learn something and also keep themselves occupied?
You don't have to buy coloring books. You can print out some pictures and then ask them to color it.
And everything is so accessible. The printer is obviously accessible. You can just get some paper, ask them to do it. So
I remember we used to do origami when we were young. That is time consuming and takes a lot of effort.
I remember that very, very well. And I distinctly remember a sort of a teacher or somebody teaching us to how to make a boat, how to make what is that boat with the thing at the bottom.
Boat is very simple. Everyone learns.
No, the boat, and then there's another type of boat.
Obviously, I get
a nice sword boat. And things like that. And then there's a duck, there's a dog.
You can make a frog out of it.
Frog, exactly. So those sort of things.
Aeroplanes and boats are very common.
Yes.
Just the frogs and animals are a little bit very difficult.
Other things that is also becoming very common these days is home gardening, like growing your own vegetables.
At least if not vegetables, at least the things like pudina. What is pudina? Mint leaves. And what other leaves? Like you can grow onions and tomatoes. Curry leaves are a little bit difficult, but it is possible. But mint leaves you can just take the stalk and plant them and get it.
Also onions. And then tomatoes are a little bit more difficult, but it's still possible, I think. Those sort of everyday use.
Flowers, some flowers which you use for puja or whatever it is.
Growing them in terrace gardening.
Terrace gardening, a lot of people do that in apartments these days.
Yes. And it's becoming more and more common, not just with the pandemic, obviously, it's been there even before
people
that.
Needed hobbies in the pandemic, so they at least started something.
Yes, and it's like more and more people also wanted to show what they're doing at home and all of that. So it became more prevalent on social media. Yes. It became more prevalent that people would see all of that and be like, okay, all of this is possible. Okay, maybe I should also try something like this. So gardening became a thing, and composting also became a thing with the gardening.
At least now apartments are forced to do biocomposting, at least for their food and vegetable waste. So but how useful it is, I don't know.
I think using it as soil for planting is sometimes very good, no?
True.
Instead of buying mulch or fertilizer or something, composting and then using that as
again natural alternatives.
Natural, saving money sort of a thing also. And one more thing is, the most prevalent thing is working out at home.
Don't pay a gym subscription.
Yes. Obviously, you can get equipments, and I personally knew a lot of people who got like equipments to work out at home. But I think more and more people realize that you don't really need all of these equipments either.
If you eat right, you don't need it.
That is true. But then, there are some people who really want to like develop muscle or whatever it is. So you use something like either you can use resistance bands, like cheaper ones, or you can just use whatever you have at home.
Yes.
So that also became sort of a cost-effective solution to
Yes.
workouts.
Yeah.
So it's interesting how things develop that way, and
Probably it's a trend. Maybe it will change.
yeah, exactly. I think things will change
Yeah.
as we go out more and more. I think people will want those professional services again. Same with salons and everything. Even though getting a manicure pedicure at home is like something people can do. I think people will still prefer those professional services. At one point in
Plus,
their
you're
life.
treated nicely.
Yeah, you're treated nicely, and you get good equipment and all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't think we're still in that phase where it's like, I want to do my own thing, I want to make my own thing. But I think, yeah, like you said, it's slightly gonna change to more, I want more professional things.
Yeah, it will change. People are frustrated to stay at home. They'll
Yes.
definitely go out.
Yes,
But I don't know how restaurants will catch up. We'll see.
yes, we'll see what happens. And I think that's a good spot to end it there today. Hey, thanks for listening to Bob and Tag Talk. Please consider following us on our Instagram and Facebook pages. We put out weekly summaries of the topics discussed on the podcast. And if you found this episode informative, please like, share, and subscribe.